So oftentimes what happens is somebody will come to you and they need a sign. They don't have a clue what they want. But as a sign painter and a designer, you immediately start to think about who's going to view it. Is it close viewing? Is it going to be viewed by cars driving fast? Is it intimate people walking right up to it? Is it a one-act play? I mean, is it like that, or do people have a moment to absorb it? This one here is kind of somewhere in between. I mean, you do get some pedestrians that are going to see it, but for the most part, it's going to be drive-by traffic. So I knew it had to be bright, colorful, bold letters. It had to be read from a distance. So with the client, I'll give her maybe one or two ideas. You don't want to give them too much information because then they get overwhelmed. And then you'll do a color thing. This particular one, she trusted me enough. She just said, do whatever you want, which is usually the best. That's usually the best thing, because then, you know, you'll even try that much harder because you know it works. You know if it has good distance, if people are going to want to look at it. Whenever you do blends and stuff like that, it becomes magical. People want to look at it just a little bit longer than block lettering. You know, it has value that way. And so that was what I needed to do on this sign. There are times where that would be lost on most viewers. It would just, you know, block lettering may solve the problem. Other times you want a picture. You want to have a graphic, because they don't have to read a graphic. They could look at it, bam, their eye goes right to that graphic, and then they read the text. Well, you know, this is really an interesting thing. The first wall signs, the first form of advertisement in the United States was wall sign, mostly in the big cities back east. And oftentimes they did a graphic because a lot of the immigrants couldn't read, or they couldn't read that language. So they would have a picture attached to it, so people would know that, oh wow, they're selling a loaf of bread or cigars. And then as things evolved and people, you know, became more literate, then they were able to add text to it. But it was really the first form of advertising. Even before newspapers, people were reading wall signs in the big cities. So, you know, it has evolved, but it really hasn't changed that much as far as what people like to look at and what gets them to, what catches their eye to sell the product. Oh, absolutely, it's the colors. It really is. Now this is a unique one. This is a dark green background. That's really kind of rare for a wall. Usually we're working on tan or beige or a red brick wall. To have a dark green, at first I was a bit kind of turned off about the project, but I tried. When I see that, then I got to turn that into a positive. That's my background. What am I going to use on a dark green background to really make this thing pop and make it special? You know, I would have done it different if it was a cream colored wall or a white wall. I would have tried to create maybe a perimeter or a border around it and made it a panel. But with this, I didn't need to. And you know, the other thing about what's unique to what we do as wall painters, wall sign painters, is we work on a larger scale. I mean, these are over 2-foot letters. You know, that's kind of unique. But that's our world, you know, we work in a bigger scale. And it's almost frustrating to shrink that down. We want to work in a big scale. That's our world, you know. 2-foot letters, I lay that out. I could feel the proportions. I know when it's squared, I know when it's right, you know. It's kind of fun to be up there and, you know, going like this is not fun for a sign painter that does walls. We want to kind of go like this.